Hi viewers, welcome to your favorite youth show, Generation C. My name is Rivaldo Kavanga and I'll be your host for today's show. So Generation C is basically your show where we talk about everything youth related, and in this show we have three segments. We basically have the zone segment, which is coming up next, and then we have the school news segment and the varsity segment. And in these three different segments we address everything youth related. So stay tuned as we go on for the show. Come to the zone segment. Today we are going through our zone, and I mean this is just one of the best publications out there, and you can find it in today's Namibian Sun, Republican and Algemeine Zeitung. So firstly, as you can see on the picture on the screen above, that is our photo of the week, and it's basically where the Minister of Education and some agronomic board members are handing over the school garden funding project, which is an initiative of the Namibian Agronomic Board that will enable 14 schools to manage their own garden. And I mean, it's just so amazing seeing that they're investing this much in school-going gardens, and that they're actually giving the children and the teachers the privilege to manage their own school gardens. And up next, we'll actually take a look at this handover.
The donation of 14 schools gardens. 14 meaning one garden per region, from the Namibian Agronomic Board, which is worth 1.1 million. I'm receiving it here at ours primary school, representing all other beneficiary schools. With these three words, I thank you so much.
There were particular sets of equipment or some things that we were actually looking at. And one of the things that was actually delivered is the greenhouse. So the greenhouse is fully equipped with automated irrigation system.
Representing other gardens sponsored by NAB to the tune of 1.1 million in every single region in Namibia. And thank you.
If you look at it, we said that the garden water itself. I just want to take you through all the specifications. If you look at your back, there is actually an elevated tank. The height of the stand is 3 meters. That is just to facilitate the pressure. And on top of that, because the water is coming from NAM water, or probably it's municipality water, so we also put the booster pump just to boost the pressure and make sure that all the plants receive water. So what happened is that the irrigation system that you see is a drip irrigation. Is one of the efficient irrigation systems where the plant each plant receives its water from its own hole. Without wasting water, and also even some of the water cannot waste due to evaporation. And on top of that, also the school will not struggle with weeding problem. So,
Not just
Mr. Mambanzo, can you show them?
how do we do it? This one I know. I was trained in the other two will open the hydroponic.
Yes, hydroponic garden at Queen Sophia.
Twist it.
Hold and piece.
Come and straight to this one and fix it.
For the stem to just break
The direct kind and that direct kind. You can choose one. We have to do it together.
I mean, super amazing seeing the government and the private sector coming together to actually give schools their own gardens. And I mean, this is what I call sustainable help. But up next, we'll be looking at our front page profile, which is Michael Shahadwa, and he started his own clothing brand. But wait, that's not it. He started his own clothing brand and soon opened up his own printing shop, where he does so many things in his printing shop. And up next, we'll stay tuned as Michael tells us more about his business and what he does.
Hi everyone, this is Michael Shaganjo, Mr. YDM from YDM Investment, specializing in t-shirt printing, digital and vinyl machinery supplies, graphic designing, and the YDM clothing brand. I've started my business a year ago as a freelancer and later registered it as a printing company. The message I have to the youth is that people will always have something to say. People will always criticize you regardless of how good your idea is. So it's up to you to pick up ideas that will actively impact your business. So make sure you read my full story by grabbing the Zone in the Namibian Sun or in the Republican. Thank you very much.
Welcome back, and it's so amazing seeing what Michael actually does at such a young age. But up next, we'll be having an interview with Mahua and Bertha Tobias as they tell us more about their workshop that will be taking place this Friday and Saturday, which is termed On The Grow. And I mean, it's super amazing seeing young people actually doing things to empower other young people. So stay up for that interview.
So we are here in our Generation C studio, and as you guys can see, we are joined by two lovely ladies. Can you kindly introduce yourselves and tell us a bit more about you?
I think I'll go first. Hi, my name is Mahua. I'm a 21-year-old student. I'm a psychology and German studies student, and I'm also a youth leader.
All right.
Right. Hey, I think very simply, hi everyone, my name is Bertha Tobias. I'm a second-year international relations and economics student at Claremont McKenna in Claremont, California, and I'm a youth leader. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So we are here to know all about On The Grow. Okay. So can you tell us about what this initiative is all about, how it came about, and what exactly you guys are going to do?
Yeah. Right. So how it came about is actually a very interesting origin story, because Thrive and I weren't really working together from the get-go. I think for me, how it started was having access to funding, right? So there was this call that was released, and I applied. You know, they said identify a need in your community, and I thought youth professional development, just by seeing what it's done for me, I wanted to make that accessible to other young people. So with the funding that was available, I said this is something I want to do, but I was working on my own, so it was a bit of a flop, or at least the planning was a bit of a flop. But yeah, that's how it came about. Is I had access to funding, I have the capacity, both professionally and individually, and I have the passion. So I thought, why not coordinate? And then Thrive will talk about how we started working together.
As from our side, so what I had seen, what I had identified is sort of a gap in professional skills in young people. A lot of young people, especially around our ages 21, 20, 19, 18, you want to get into the professional space, but you don't know how to send an email correctly. You don't know how to network. You don't know how to be able to identify opportunities that could possibly help you. And because I was thrown in the deep end when I got into professional settings, I thought to myself, but why don't we have something that provides the skill set to young people? And when I started to look at what could happen, I then stumbled into Bertha, who had then already come up with that idea. So we then just combined forces and pushed this thing forward.
Wow. Okay. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm definitely more excited to know more about this. So is this going to be like a workshop, or is it training? What exactly are you guys going to do?
Yeah. That's a great question. And I think, you know, when you spend so much time doing something, you assume everyone just gets it because it's so familiar in your head. But it's, so in essence, the technical sort of description is it's a youth professional development training program, which is a whole mouthful. What that boils down to practically is a two-day workshop.
Okay.
What that looks like, the structure of the average day is, so Thrive and I, obviously, having the passion doesn't necessarily mean you have the technical capacity to train people. So we're not licensed professional developers or whatever. So what we did was we identified certain industry experts, and we wanted to create the bridge or the link between young people who are thirsty and hungry for a particular skill set and industry experts who have that. So those are the people that we've really brought on board, and they're really the bread and butter of our training sessions. And then after that, that's the programming, that's the activities, and that's testing whether the participants are able to relay what they've learned from our industry experts during the first part of the day. So it's training, sort of workshops, sort of interactive activities, a mishmash of everything really. But that's what it's like practically, and professional development training is what it is in theory.
Wow. So I want to know about this selection process. You mentioned participants. Are they specific people you're targeting? Can anyone apply? Or how are you guys going about picking the people that will attend?
So we had a very in-depth application process in 2019 where over 400 people had visited the site and about 150 people had applied. So unfortunately, we can only host about 40-50 people. So we had to then review all of the applications, see young people that have the drive, have the passion to want to make a change into their communities, to want to advance themselves. And so now that we've selected a group of people, about 40-50 young people now, according to the regulations of COVID, we will be then conducting the training program with them.
Oh, so they applied online, or did you have flyers, or how did that work?
So
no, they applied online. So and I think that's really the beauty, I guess, of the internet as well. We launched the application when I was still at school in China, and obviously launched it to a very Namibian audience because that's where we wanted it to take place. So they applied online, and we've coordinated and communicated with all our participants online until now. Yeah.
Okay, so before we get to the end of this interview, I want to know, is this going to be like an annual thing? How many times a year are you going to have these workshops? How frequently will it happen?
Yeah, so I think that really depends on our capacity, right? So two things also. One, we are not dishonest about the fact that this is our first this is our first sort of penetrative acts into youth professional development. And it's not to say, people are guinea pigs or whatever, but it's to say we are learning as we go. And we're doing our best. But we know we're also brilliant. So chances are we're probably going to do it again. But it's just a matter of capacity, and it's a matter of the support that we receive after this, if there's any support available. Obviously, I think in theory it's something we'd want to carry forward, but practically we can't do that if we don't have the means to do it. So it really depends on how willingly people jump on board to help.
Wow. Yeah. Okay, so just to follow up on that question, walking away from this on the grow training, will I get a certificate, or will I just get like the soft skills and the skills that will help me move my way around life better? Or is there anything specific that you offer coming out of this training?
And I believe it will then just be the soft skills and all of the knowledge and the advancements that we'll be giving you in the training, and also the opportunity to network with other brilliant young people, because it's very important to be able to do so, and also to be able to take all of this information for these experts that we have. So that's the giveaway, that's the take home from On the Grow. It's really the skill set. And what we're trying to do is to not just make it a seminar where you sit and listen to rich people speak all day, but also, I mean, the after lunch and what we've planned is to ensure that you've really actually learned the skills, and that when you walk away from there, you know that when I walk into an interview, I'm able to present myself and I'm able to articulate myself on certain points.
And sorry, I just want to add on to that as well. So I think on top of the soft skills also, I know, with all the professional development and conferences and seminars, etc., that I was immersed in when I was much younger. It's for me, I mean, I can't always pinpoint. I can't remember exactly what I learned in those seminars, but I know they sparked something in me. They, whether that is, someone believes in you enough to think that this is information that you need to have access to, or whether it's someone believes in you enough to know that this is something that would be important to you. Someone believes in your capacity. Someone is doing the work to hone that capacity. All of those pieces of insight were important to me. And I think I guess not being naive, our training days are from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And even just from an attention span point of view, that can be difficult. But I strongly believe, and I think we strongly believe, that it sparks something, whether that's an interest, whether that is a bigger appetite for more. I think it's a meaningful starting point, I guess, on top of the soft skills.
Wow, very inspirational indeed. Now, as university students, right, as just regular people in this regular city trying to make a change, trying to leave a mark, what would you say to somebody that's aspiring to create something like a vision as big as this one? What do you want to say to them?
Okay, I can go. I think what I want to say is, and this is a conversation I was having with a friend the other day as well, is to start where you are with what you have. And I think that's because, you know, with Thrive and I, for example, like we said, we're not certified, you know, whatever's. We're just young people who think, oh, this is important, and this is a gap, the gap that Thrive described. And this is something that we think we can fill in our own capacity, putting our skill sets together, etc. So I think it's really start where you are with what you have. And I think many times this desire that we all have to you know, present a perfect package or a perfect project to the world, many times is obviously rooted in the fear that we have of failure and, oh, what are people gonna say, and what is, you know, all of that stuff. And I think start where you are with what you have, while recognizing that I think whatever project you start, while it's important to put your all into it, it's also important to make sure that critique of the project and how it can be better is not personal critique on you as a person. And even if it was, that should be fine, because you should constantly be striving to improve and do better. So it start really where you are with what you have. And also, like, it's nothing personal. It's never personal.
And I think just to add to what you're saying, I think another component that is very important is passion. If you don't have a passion for your project, if you're not passionate about what you're doing, I don't think you'll go far. I think what seeing in our experience in putting on the Grow together, you need to love what you do. You need to love your project. You need to be able to put your name at stake for it. And that's something that I would add to that. Yeah.
Wow. Sorry, just last thing as well.
No
I also think, right, it's a I think the younger you are, I think the better it is to try. You know, I think for me, On the Grow is a passion project, and I think for Thrive as well. You know, it's the kind of thing where, you know, it's not like, oh, when I grow up, I want to be an employee at On the Grow. You know, it's not like that. But it is really something that it's close to my heart, and it's the kind of thing that if I'm gonna try to do it, I want to do it now. And if we're gonna work on it, it needs to be now, so that if we're like, ish, what was that? You know, like if we look back, it's like, what was that? But the bottom line is just, I think the younger you are, the better you are, because you really have nothing to lose. Other than maybe a few people on the internet saying, what are you doing? You, like, it's cool. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, Generation C, that was Miss Bertha and Thrive, showing us that your dreams are valid, opportunities are endless, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Welcome back to your favorite segment, the school news segment. So basically here we focus on all issues school related. So firstly, we have two school publications that came out in our The Zone, which is on page 3. We have Concordian Times, the school newspaper by Concordia. And on page 5, we have the Hardap Harklop, which is a school newspaper by Privaatskool Elnatan. So before we head over to that, we'd just like to take a moment to have a look at what the editor and one of the editorial team members of the Hardap Harklop have to say to their fellow schoolmates of the Privaatskool Elnatan, and we'll be listening to Liska and Tiana, who are two editorial members of the Hardap Harklop.
Hallo julle, ek's Liska Smit van die Hardap Harklop en ek is deel van die redakteurspan. Hierdie week kom 'n propvol koerant uit. Daar's stukke oor e-learning wat Elnatan nou doen. Daar's 'n stuk oor die palmpikkies wat nou in Mariental oopgemaak het. Daar's 'n stuk oor 4 van Elnatan se wonderlike onderwysers wat jy moet lees. En dan kom ons die nuutste skaaknuus, die nuutste sportnuus en ook 'n stuk oor ons Elnatan ouers wat die bydra tot die skool lewer. Dan is daar ook 'n inligtingstuk oor ADHD wat jy moet lees en ingelig word. En ja.
Hallo julle, ek is Tobias van Privaatskool Elnatan. Ek is een van ons skoolkoerant se redakteurs. hardop hardloop. Ek wil maar net sê ek hoop dat gaan nog baie goed met almal by die huis ook besig is met e-learning en dat jy dan so klein bietjie uitgerus het, maar julle moet nou baie hard werk wanneer die eksamen is om die draai en julle moet positief bly want dit is wat ons nou nodig in die omstandighede waarin ons is. En bly asseblief veilig want as jy veilig bly, maak jy dit vir iemand anders ook veilig en ons moet almal net daar wees vir mekaar en ons moet mekaar ondersteun. En dan die voorblad van ons koerant word in The Zone, die Republikein en The Sun gepubliseer. En dan ons hele koerant kan julle gaan lees as julle ons op Telegram gaan subscribe. Dit kom vandag uit. Download Telegram, tik in hardop hardloop, dis ons koerant se naam. Ek hoop julle het dit geweet. En dan druk jy op hardop hardloop, dit sal opkom as jy dit wil search en dan druk jy join, dan subscribe jy dit. Asseblief, ons vra baie mooi. En dis dit vir vandag. Bye.
I mean, it's amazing from Liska and Tiana. I mean, super, super wonderful editorial team members. But then we do know amid the coming third wave that many schools have resorted to online learning. So if your school possibly extends out its extension of the closure of schools, do not hesitate to contact us and let us know. So also keep the rest of the public and the parents informed about all the other things. And we also know that many schools have currently resorted to online learning. So do send us your videos through of how online learning is going and also let us know in the comment section how you are coping with online learning. But then that is it from us from the school segment. But before we head over to our varsity school news segment, do stay tuned for our matric farewell ad. So welcome back to your favorite segment, viewers. Welcome to the Varsity Chat Room. My name is Rivaldo Kavanga, and today I am joined by Fanuel Shinedima, an accounting, or let me rather say chartered accounting student at the University of Stellenbosch. Welcome, Fanuel.
Thank you, Rivaldo.
Yeah, so firstly, Fanuel, tell us what it's like being a student in SA, man.
Yeah, first of all, I really think it is an amazing opportunity, if I can say, like coming to one of the best universities on the African continent and in the world it feels really exciting, and I'm really happy to be here. There's a lot to learn, and I meet a lot of other international students from different countries and build this amazing network together. So it's really something amazing.
It's really something amazing. So then, Fanuel, we also know you're an intern at My Zone. I mean, you're basically one of us. So then, how has the transition been going from a journalist to an accounting student?
Yeah, I think first of all, at the beginning, I wasn't like that happy leaving My Zone because I wasn't ready for this, but in the end, I was looking forward to the future as well. And I think one of the most important things I've realized about myself through this journey was I think I have different interests and ambitions, and it's just a matter of taking up one and going for it, and I think that's it.
Definitely. I mean, sticking to your goal. So then, Fanuel, we also aware that you got a bursary and fellowship to study at Stellenbosch. Please tell us more about how you got this.
Yeah, I'm currently studying on the Island grade of this foundation fellowship. It's a fellowship for South African and Namibian students that have an interest in entrepreneurship and all broad careers, if I can say. So I applied while I was in grade 12, but I got my response earlier, I think after I left My Zone, because I was on a previous bursary as well. So yeah, it's an amazing opportunity as well, and I'm currently on that as well, including my bursary. that I also received after from an auditing firm, PwC Namibia, as well as an investment firm in Namibia. So it's like between a fellowship and others, yeah.
Definitely, I mean, it must be amazing. But then how would you say, how are the studies going so far, man? How is it like actually being at Stellenbosch? I mean, this is one of the best universities in Africa. Is it intense? Is the workload a lot? How would you range the difficulty level of the university there?
Yeah, I think you can say that it's intense because, I mean, yeah, it's one of the best and they offer like quality education, if I can say. And honestly, I wasn't ready for this. Like in the beginning, I was still relaxed because I thought everything was going to be fine. But in the end, like we're piling up and things were just so different from what I was used to. So it was quite hectic in the beginning, but I got over it, and now I can say I'm managing. But it is hard, but it is manageable, if I can say.
I mean, definitely. So, Fanuel, if you had one thing to, we have grade 12s and grade 11s obviously watching this, and if you had one thing to say to them, what would that be?
I think one of the first things is just to have that ambition or goal, if I can say. Like anything is possible if you put your mind and heart to it. So just have that goal and work on it, like do things, and anything is possible. I mean, I was also a Namibian student, and I never thought I would be in Stellenbosch, and I never thought I had the Allen Gravis Foundation, but I always had the thought of going to study at one of the best universities, and I always had the thought of getting myself that bursary, and I never knew how it was, but all along worked for it, and I worked through it, and it happened. So it's just about believing in yourself, doing the work, and putting in the effort and sacrificing, if I can say. Like you really.
I mean, definitely anything is possible if you put in the hard work. But thank you so much for joining us, Fanuel. And this was the Varsity Chat Room.
Right. Thank you so much for it.
I mean, we had such a great show. I mean, we looked at Michael, we saw Only Grow, and we spoke to an inspirational Fanuel Shinedima, student in Stellenbosch, who was also part of the My Zone brand. And I mean, he still is part of us. But unfortunately, we have come to the end of this show. And if you have any youth-related news, do not hesitate to contact me at rivaldo@myzone.com.na or hit us up on our socials. I mean, you can always send through a DM on our Instagram, which is myzone_NMH, Twitter. You can also find us there at myzone_NMH, or at Facebook, where you can find us at myzone. So do not hesitate to contact us if you have any youth-related news. But then, unfortunately, we'll see you guys next week.